When you know that you are queer, but your favorite drink is beer, that's gayish. You can bottom without stopping, but you can't stand going shopping, that's gayish. Oh, gayish, you're probably gayish. Well, life's just too short for narrow stereotypes, so it's gayish. We're also gayish. It's Gayish with Mike and Kyle.
Hello, everyone in the podcast universe. This is Gayish,
the podcast that's all douched up with nowhere to go.
That's the worst.
I know, right?
Oh my God. Like, depending on how thorough you are, but if, like, spend too much time and then don't use that beautiful cleanliness for the forces of sluttiness. Like,
it's just a wasted butthole.
Oh my God, such a waste. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz.
We're here to bridge the gap between sexuality and actuality. And today
we're going to talk about Costco.
We're going to talk about Costco. But first,
one announcement.
Ooh.
Our friend Scott is starting a book club on the Books Discord channel. So it starts August 1st. So if you want to join, make sure you're on Discord, go to the Books channel, and you will see the book there. I forget what book it is that they're starting with, but go check that out.
Yeah, do it. It's The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller is the first book. And I assume it's gay. I mean, Scott's pretty gay, so
Scott's gay. This is a gay podcast. Presumably it is something gay.
Yeah. Do it. And now the news?
Yeah.
Shut your mouth hole. It's time for your ear holes. News.
Before we get into the news, Kyle, President Trump was shot in the ear yesterday at a rally. And I just want to be clear that that's not going to be in the news because unless it turns out that 20-year-old with the rifle was a dick sucker, there's nothing gay about it besides the existential threat to everyone, regardless of gender or sexual identity, gender identity or sexual orientation. So I don't plan on talking about it, but I wanted to acknowledge that it happened. I personally do not condone political violence and believe that is reprehensible and horrible. And I also can't help but asterisk saying I doubt if it was Biden, we would get that kind of courtesy from the right. Okay. News the first.
Okay.
So last year in Sunol Glen Unified School District, a policy was enacted by the school board that forbid banners at public schools other than the California and United States flags, which, you guessed it, meant that pride flags were also banned.
Yeah.
So it was all because the superintendent and principal of that school, Maureen Barnes, decided to fly the Progress Pride flag on campus. A bunch of people freaked out in the community. The school board agreed with the histrionics, and they decided to enact this ban. It was a 3-5 vote for the ban.
What did flags do to you? Like seeing gay flags does nothing to your life. If you don't like gay shit, you see a flag and then you move on with your life. I'm so tired of people pretending like flags turn you gay.
Yeah. Well, at an election last week, Ryan Jurgensen and Linda Hurley, two of the people that voted yes, lost their seats. So they were on the ballot as a recall, which it's not even like they were running up, they were up for re-election or anything. There was a recall effort, meaning that they had to go and get enough signatures to put these motherfuckers' jobs on the ballot and then boot them out by vote. So,
I remember this from Parks and Rec. This was a similar storyline, so I'm totally in the know.
Great. Excellent. Both candidates each lost their recall by less than 40 votes. But as a percentage, that's actually huge. So it was 254 to 218 against Jurgensen and 249 to 223 against Hurley. And So Chris Boberts, who is a local parent, ran against Hurley for her seat several years ago and lost by 26 votes and is one of the people that was part of the recall effort against her. And he said, quote, "It's not like the definitive outcome that I guess we were looking forward to, but we are hopeful. Above all, we're looking forward to getting past this and moving on to a more boring way of life, the way that things were before all this." And yeah, show me on the doll where the flag touched you. You sons of bitches.
Yeah.
And to be fair, they are pretty consistent. They seem to think that the American flag is magic. So like that burning it means that you should be shot. And it's just a flag, y'all.
Yeah. Occasionally think the Confederate flag is amazing too. Wow. Somehow that passes the bar, but pride flag doesn't.
That's history. If we ban the Confederate flag, everyone will just forget that the Civil War happened, Kyle.
It'll fall out of textbooks. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Okay. News the second.
Yeah.
Okay. So at the ESPY Awards here just a couple of days ago, there's a typo in this article because it says it was January 11th. It was not. It was July 11th. That's hilarious. Okay. So Serena Williams and Venus Williams, tennis royalty, and Quinta Brunson from Abbott Elementary.
Don't know.
Don't know?
No.
Quinta. I think it's Quinta Brunson from Abbott Elementary. They were on stage at the 2024 ESPY Awards last week. And Venus was telling people that they need to support women's sports, quote, like you would any other sports because they are sports. And then Serena jumped in and said, except you, Harrison Butker, we don't need you. And then Brunson said, at all, like ever. Right to his face, he was in the audience.
I don't know who that is.
That's the guy that is the Catholic who gave the graduation speech in which he said that the best decision his wife ever made was to give up her life and be his slave or whatever.
Oh, right. Okay, right. I do know who that is. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Justice Horn, the former chairman of the Kansas City LGBTQ Commission, also criticized the speech, saying, quote, Harrison Butker doesn't represent Kansas City, nor has he ever. Kansas City has always been a place that welcomes, affirms, and embraces our LGBTQ plus community members. Maybe I'll send you the clip and you can play it here because it's great.
So go ahead and enjoy women's sports like you would any other sports because they are sports. Yes. Except you, Harrison Butker. We don't need you. At all. Like ever.
Yeah. So when you listen to that, just remember he's sitting right there.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Okay. And then news the last.
Yeah.
I love this story. So a tourist was walking through San Francisco's Castro neighborhood. And then all of a sudden, out of almost nowhere, a quote, crazy kind of pirate guy sprang out of nowhere and started threatening this tourist with a blowtorch.
What?
In response to that, two gay nudists saved him. So Pete Svera and Lloyd Fishback were strolling through the Castro without a stitch of clothing on. When they witnessed all of this go down, they sprang into action and saved the dude. There's a viral video that's already been viewed more than 14 million times on X, dead name Twitter, showing one of them grabs the blowtorch away from the dude before he starts punching the tourist, and then the other one can be seen calling the police while the other one is punching him and then smacks his face. It's like the most San Francisco thing ever.
Did two gay nudists de-escalate a situation better than the police ever did?
With a blowtorch wielding pirate man.
Yeah.
Anyway, quote, over the years we've been doing this, we've tried to show the neighborhood that we're regular people. We just have a relaxed idea of what we're supposed to wear, he said. We just want to be seen as good, contributing members of the community. And saving an innocent tourist from a violent attack is a good start, y'all. Just giving nudists a good name, I guess. I'll send you this too, Derek, and you can put it on our socials or something. But yeah, pretty great.
I love when we end the news on a just weird feel-good story. That's perfect.
Noted, Kyle. It'll never happen again. That's the news.
That's the news. Speaking of weird feel-good things, I want to thank the following new Patreon members. Thank you to Adam.
I'm weird and I feel good now.
Oh, ooh, that's what Patreon will do to you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to Adam Y.
Why?
Not. Why not? And thank you to Tyler Sveden.
Sveden?
Sveden.
Is it SV?
Svedin.
That's, I think, maybe go back to geography class. That's not how that's supposed to be spelled.
Tyler. But also thank you for joining Patreon. If you want ad-free episodes a day early, if you want to get bonus content, if you want to support our show, get a bunch of other cool perks, go to patreon.com/Gayish podcast.
Do it. You want to talk about Costco, Kyle?
Yeah, let's talk about Costco. Okay.
Are we going to do a whole episode about Costco?
We're going to do, I'm pretty sure in our pre-production meeting, we sounded like we have an entire episode's worth of content about Costco.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
You were the one that submitted this to the Patreon vote. Can you explain to me why?
Well, first of all, I swept the vote this month, which
you
I'm very excited about. And you weird people that listen to us, I did not expect Costco to win.
Especially over interior decorating. I thought I had it made.
I thought you were for sure going to win by a lot. And then we were going to be talking about one of these weird ass topics, Costco or climate change, not both.
Yep.
I can't fucking believe it. Here we are. Yeah, I won big. That's all that matters. So I have long thought, I think even when I was straight, I've thought of Costco as being gay. And that could be because of the Costco that I shop at. Maybe we can talk about that a little bit later. But like, I see happy gay couples at my Costco all the time, way more seemingly than my local grocery store, which is a QFC. That's Kroger in other parts of the country. And I also see many queer people working there. It just has always been in my head since moving to Western Washington anyway, that Costco is a place that gay people work and it's a place that gay people shop. And I wanted to test this theory and do an episode about it.
Interesting. Okay. My perception is very different because I do not go to Costco.
Yeah.
And
you do with me every once in a while.
Yeah, rarely, but I think of it as a place for straight people. So I have we're coming in with this with very different mindsets about what Costco is. And we'll have to, at the end of this, see if we can agree on whether Costco is gay or not.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's like, straight people shop there too. There is an entire dairy section, but like, it's just like a, per capita, like it seems gayer than other places that people go and buy shit.
Interesting. Okay.
To me.
Okay.
We'll break it down. We'll decide who's right by the end of the episode.
Yep.
And then maybe we'll punch each other in the face.
That's a good way to end every episode from now on.
Good thing we're remote, Kyle, and feeling feisty.
Yep.
Well, I am going to talk to you about the history of Costco. So I mentioned that I shop at Costco, or at least I did. And this process of moving has been crazy. I was gone for a month, and then now like moving out of my condo and cleaning it up and getting into this little 1-bedroom apartment and trying to figure out like how much space do we have and where does stuff go? Like, I haven't been to Costco in a minute because like it's where you go to buy like more paper towels than you could possibly use in a lifetime, but my Costco, the Costco that I shop at, is Costco number 1. It was the very first one. And it was founded right here in the Soto district of Seattle in 1983.
I had no idea.
Yeah. If you go to my Costco, which the receipts say Costco number 1 on them, which is nice. The original warehouse was demolished so that it could be rebuilt bigger. But they kept a window and a section of the wall from the original first Costco as a little shrine over by the cash registers at my Costco. Anyway, it opened its first warehouse in Seattle in 1983. Now, because of mergers, their corporate history actually goes back to 1976. And that's because people who have shopped there for a really long time might remember that it was once called Price Costco. And that's because they merged with a company called Price Club. Now that they opened their first store in 1976 on Morena Boulevard in San Diego, California, which I don't know. San Diego is pretty gay, but it was Costco itself was opened by Jim Senegal and Jeffrey H. Brotman, September 15th, 1983, and Senegal had started in wholesale distribution. He worked in this sort of world, and Brotman was an attorney. And what they were trying to figure out is whether this new business model of having a membership to shop somewhere and making money more on the memberships than on the items that were being sold was a viable business model. And it was 93 that Costco and Price Club merged and became Price Costco. And eventually that became just Costco, around about the same time that Costco moved its headquarters from Kirkland to Issaquah. These are Seattle suburbs. But Kirkland brand, which is like the grocery store brand of Costco stuff, is because of Kirkland, Washington, the suburb here where their headquarters was for many years. Since then, it's grown and grown and grown. They are now up to 879 locations, including a bunch of international locations. So let's see, they have 606 in the United States, including in Puerto Rico. They have 108 in Canada, 40 in Mexico, 33 in Japan, 29 in the UK. They also have like a long tail in Korea, Australia, Taiwan, China, Spain, France, Iceland, New Zealand, and Sweden.
Damn,
and
Costco's everywhere. Costco
is fucking everywhere and continues to grow. And the last thing I'll say about the history here is their business model really is interesting. Like if you shop at Costco, you're not going to find like 8 different kinds of deodorant and get to pick your one. There's like, for any given item, there's going to be 1, maybe 2, end of list. And they do that intentionally as part of their business model. And I think that's really, really interesting. It's almost like I take some like comfort out of it almost, because I don't have to stress out about too many options. You don't get overwhelmed by all the choices. I just go, and here's the one thing, you can have it. Like, we only carry this specific razor, this kind of deodorant, this brand of cereal, this jar of pickles. Like they just, you only have like one choice, take it or leave it kind of a thing. Now there are exceptions. They have a bunch of different kinds of bread, and they have a bunch of different kinds of like coffee. There are a few things that they do carry a wide variety of, but for the most part, the stuff that they carry, there's going to be like one branded option, the Kirkland option that is like very similar looking, maybe a third option, maybe, but usually it's just those two, which I actually really like. And they're also known for selling things in bulk, like in sizes that are not normal at just like a grocery store. Like it's not just going to be giant ass tubs of shit. Yeah. It's not going to be just like a bag of Ruffles. It's going to be like a bag of Ruffles you could put an infant in. Yeah. The last thing that I want to say about it, I guess, is that the concession stand at the front of a Costco still. So in 1985, they started selling food through a hot dog cart at the original Seattle warehouse number 1. And most Costco locations now have a food court. But in 1985, they started selling a 1/4 pound, 100% beef hot dog and a drink with free refills for $1.50. And they have never raised the price. It is still $1.50 for a hot dog and a soda at Costco. And this is an example of what's called a loss leader. Do you know, you went to business school. What's a loss leader? I went to business school. A loss leader is something that you lose money on, but it helps get people in the door. So you're doing it intentionally to make money elsewhere. Yep, absolutely. That's exactly what they're like. Most analyses are like, there's no possible way they have any margin whatsoever. It must be a negative margin on $1.50 for a hot dog with condiments and a soda. It's inflation proof. Is it?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it hasn't increased with inflation.
But also, I think that this might be one of the reasons that you think Costco is straight. Like
The hot dog stand?
I don't think that there's a lot of gay money being brought in for the hot dog stand. Like this is let's get those people in here. Like straight.
Let's get the straights. Straight people love hot dogs.
They also offer froyo. Vanilla ice cream. It used to be froyo. Now it's just vanilla ice cream. And then they have pepperoni pizzas or cheese pizzas, and you can take a whole pizza home if you want to. They have chicken bake. They have there's quite a few items that you can get, and they are more appropriately priced than the ridiculous hot dog deal. But yeah. Anyway,
do you get the hot dog when you go there?
Fuck no. Oh my god. Here's the thing. I don't. Drunk Mike on occasion will put things in his mouth that he shouldn't.
Mm-hmm,
Whether that's a friend or his contacts. Sometimes he eats his contacts.
Yes, he does.
Sometimes Drunk Mike enjoys a hot dog, which there's lots of hot dog stands and street life, like nightlife around Seattle. And I will have the worst tasting burps for like 3 days after I have a hot dog. Like Polish hot dog meat does not agree with my system whatsoever. Mm-hmm. And the one time I did it at Costco, I had that experience. And so never again, Kyle.
Costco hot dogs are a never for Mike.
Yeah. But that's a lot of calories for $1.50. I'm sure it's a great way to go for lots of people out there who want to, like, I don't know, stock up on carbs and protein and fat. Anyway, yeah. What do you got? What do you got, Kyle?
I was trying to figure out if Costco is gay by looking at stuff on their website. Okay. So I just searched on the Costco website to see what I could come up with to see how gay they are. Okay. So first thing I came up with, this is all little pieces of evidence that we're going to help build a case for whether it's gay or not. Okay. When searching for clothing under gender, they do have boys, girls, and gender neutral.
Okay. They do?
Yeah. Yep.
That's progressive. How about that?
Yep. Very progressive. They still categorize things like dresses under like girls. Like at some point, I feel like all of this can just kind of go away because clothes are just clothes and anyone can buy clothes. So, yeah. But you know, they still categorize.
Anyone can buy clothes.
Anyone can buy clothes. Yeah. So, but yes, that was very progressive. I did not expect that. On their fragrance buying guide, they said, quote, society has a history of classifying softer, more feminine fragrances as perfume for women and more powerful fragrances as cologne for men. Yet all fragrances are actually gender neutral and are meant to be worn and enjoyed by everyone.
Is that true?
Yeah. Everyone can, just like clothes are for everyone, fragrances are for everyone.
Sure, I get that. I don't know why I'm having a reaction to that. That's wild. Like, you're blowing my mind, Kyle. Like, my liberal hippie ass is now on to the idea that, like, dudes should wear skirts. That's great. But I very strongly associate smells with gender. Like, there are man smells and there are lady smells. And there are unisex smells or gender neutral smells in the like fragrance world. But there's for sure some like male fragrance that like if I smelled it on a very feminine presenting person, I would be like, that is incongruous. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but anyone can do whatever they want.
Well, that's true. I mean, I obviously support everyone's right to do whatever they want. You're blowing my mind that like I could be like down with the visual, but apparently my nose hasn't caught up.
But the first step is pointing it out and realizing it's one of those things that you're like, oh, right. Now I know that. Now I recognize that I have this kind of bias of what smells belong to who. And now you can move forward.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't know I'd break your mind so early.
Yeah, that's great. I like it.
Good. Okay. They had an inclusion report on their website that had information on women and people of color, but nothing about LGBT people.
Yeah.
It was last updated December 2023, so pretty recent. Just a little bit of fun data. Of all their employees, 54% are male.
Mm-hmm.
Of their managers, 62% are male. So they have a little bit more to go to be equal between men and women on their manager front.
Yeah, I didn't include it in any of my segments today, but they actually got sued by a bunch of ladies. Like a bunch of women were like, "It's impossible to get promoted here if you don't have a penis," and like we're suing. And yeah. Anyway, that happened. So maybe that's part of why they're reporting on that like that.
Yeah, that would make sense. They also reported on Black employees. So the U.S. estimates say 14% of the country is Black. So if we are assuming that things should, on average, fall around, there should be 14% Black employees as well. Well, there's not. It's a little bit less than that. 9% of all employees are Black. And of managers, 8% are Black. So again, a little bit more work to do on making sure Black people get the same promotion opportunities.
Yep.
There was another report, the Supplier Diversity Report, also last updated 2023, that highlighted examples of 2 female-owned businesses and 2 people of color-owned businesses, no LGBT-owned businesses. So we were, again, left out of the diversity report there.
Yeah. So, okay. Because I am a faithful and loyal customer to them, I'm aware that might come with it a bunch of biases. And I'm trying not to, but I just want to own that that's a potential. Like letting them off the hook when they don't deserve it is where I'm going. But at work for Salesforce, and I think that we had this. Now you have to beep. How long has it been since you had to beep something?
It's been a while.
All of that other demographic information is just available because of EEOC laws, right? Like you can and do ask people, are you male or female? Are you white or Latino or Pacific Islander? Like this is all information that like there's checkboxes that it's like legal to ask people these things, and so then we do. There's no good data source for do you suck dick? Right? Like that's
not a question on your new hire form.
HR isn't tracking that for us, so we have to depend. Like in the little bit of work that I do with Outforce, which is our ERG, employee resource group for queer employees, we have to rely on self-reported data that's spotty at best. God knows how accurate it is. It certainly doesn't capture everyone in the community. Like, but it's because you can't really formally like ask people when they get hired. I don't know if that's why this is like, I wonder if they would report it if they had a good way to do it.
Yeah. We should be gathering LGBT employee data, right?
Maybe. I don't know. Because unlike any other characteristic about a human, sexuality is fluid, right? Like you can't change your sexuality. That has been proven over and over again, but your sexuality can change.
Yeah.
Like people's proclivities do just naturally evolve over time, just not in a way that is self-directed. So unlike any other thing, like somebody's not going to stop being Black. Somebody's
right. Right.
Like, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, you don't have to come out as Black either. So there's like, there's also a privacy kind of thing that comes along with being LGBT, that I don't want to out anyone. I don't want to force anyone out. But if there was like a private way, anonymous way to get LGBT employee data, I feel like I would want that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just hard. I imagine like sociologists have a lot of weirdness and edge cases and difficulties with these subjects.
Yeah, I would think so. So that was what I found on the Costco website. So I did go off their website and look at the HRC website.
Yep.
And look at their score on the employment. What's it called? How gay you are. How gay as an employer you are.
Yeah. That has it. You're right. It has a name.
It has a more formal name. That's not how gay is your employer.
HRC, corporate
equality index.
Corporate Equality Index, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. On the Corporate Equality Index, their score out of 100 is what, Mike?
90.
Their score is 20.
What?
Yeah.
That's bad.
That's very bad. This was their score in 2023. So they scored a 0 out of 5 for workplace protections.
What?
The qualification that would have earned them those 5 points is employment non-discrimination policy includes sexual orientation and gender identity for all operations. So it did not have that.
That's
10,
weird, but I thought it did.
I don't know. Not according to the Corporate Equality Index.
Interesting. Okay.
They scored a 10 out of 50 for inclusive benefits, a 10 out of 25 for internal training and inclusive culture. The reason they got 10 points is they do have an LGBT ERG, employee resource group. So that's good. And they scored 0 out of 20 for their corporate social responsibility.
Interesting.
Yeah. So what I gathered from both the website and the HRC is that they don't seem to, they have some things that like publicly support kind of LGBT kind of causes, like their gender neutral clothing options, but other things when they're like reporting out on performance or when they're getting evaluated, they don't seem to measure up in LGBT equality.
That's wild to me.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Well, now I'm sad because I'm afraid I just saw the future of where we're going to end this episode.
There's still, just because something isn't gay by the numbers doesn't mean it's not a little gay in other ways. So there's still hope.
Sure. Well, also, I think this is a great opportunity to talk about how a reputation can last longer than a behavior. So in 2014, so 10 years ago, there was an article in The Advocate called "What's the Most Gay-Friendly Brand?" The number one answer in 2014 was Costco.
Wow.
They were number 14 in 2013, and they rose all the way to number 1 in 2014. At that time, part of what they asked, so YouGov's brand index is what they used to decide this, and they came up with a top 100 ranking of best brands broken down by audience and market sector. And when they look at that for LGBT consumers, it was Costco, and other top ranking brands included Netflix, Panera Bread, Trader Joe's, YouTube. Those were the top 5. And but they asked, in part, they asked the question, if you've heard anything about this brand in the last 2 weeks through advertising, news, or word of mouth, was it positive or negative? But they also included the Corporate Equality Index. And that year, they got a 90 out of 100. And that's why I said 90, because I thought I had some inside knowledge that I was going to be like, ooh, look at Mike, he knows stuff. Now, I know that the CEI changes. They have slowly over time sort of ratcheted up the requirements to do well, because especially in the space of trans inclusivity and medical care, there's been a growing need for movement in that direction. But I don't know if it's that the requirements changed to be more stringent and Costco stayed the same and drifted, or if Costco has like started doing shittier.
Yeah.
Or both. Like it could be both,
a little both
as factors at the same time. But yeah, it's just wild to me, because again, at least 10 years ago, Costco was being recognized as the most gay-friendly brand. Again, a score of 90 on the CEI. This polling with reputation among LGBT people was super high. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do with that except to presume that all of these numbers that we're looking at are correct. I'm not a Republican. I can I can be wrong about something. But I am interested now in what shifted, because
what happened in the past 10 years.
Yeah, that's wild.
They were the number one brand
in 2014, at least according to The Advocate, and they know gay shit.
Yeah, they definitely know gay shit. Huh.
Yeah. And I don't know, these other brands, it's interesting too, right? Because Netflix was number 2 on that list, and they've sure had some problems with the queer community in the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Panera Bread, I don't know anything about them except that their lemonade apparently kills babies. Trader Joe's, it's funny because for the longest time, I've had a negative perception in my head about Trader Joe's. And I think that stems from older sources. Like they famously didn't fill out the CEI for a really long time, and I don't know if they even do now. And when companies don't fill out their information for the Corporate Equality Index, the HRC makes a best guess based on publicly available information. And I think right when I first came out, so 2008, 2009, 2010 maybe, Trader Joe's did not have a good reputation. And apparently by 2014, they'd fixed it or worked on it because they were number 3 on this list, or number 4 on this list. And YouTube, the internet is not a safe place for queer people. Like, I don't know how you, in 2014, I mean, things were younger and newer and fresher, but YouTube had still been around the block at that point. And I don't think it was like way more positive for gay people, but I don't know. It does. I believe all of this data, Kyle. I just don't know what it says, and I'm surprised by it.
Yeah, it seems like there's been a shift over the past 10 years. They used to be one of the most recognized gay brands, and now they haven't kept up, maybe is going to be my guess.
Yeah.
They haven't kept up with the times. They haven't held up that commitment.
Yeah. Yeah. And without actually like claiming for sure that it's true, I do think that there's this phenomenon of like, just because someone or something has a reputation, good or bad, doesn't mean it's still true. Right? Like behavior can change over time, but the narrative remains, and that's scary. I wonder if that's what's happening with the Republican Party. I wonder if there's just people that are remembering Reagan, who like was a dickbag fuckface asshole, but not this bad. Like, I wonder if they're remembering fondly some like Republican Party of years gone by that doesn't fucking exist anymore because they have shifted. Their behavior has shifted. Objective measures of their dickbag fuckface assholeness have shifted, but they're still coasting on this reputation they used to have.
Yeah, I feel like that would explain why some people are in denial about what the Republican Party does, because they're like, it seems like they just kind of ignore the reality of the Republican Party. And you're right, it could be this, just the reputation that is holding itself and carrying over.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Costco was anything like the Republican Party.
Well, you learned it here.
Yep. Should I tell you an Ask Reddit segment?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. I just looked at posts to various subreddits that mentioned gay and Costco to see what kind of things people were posting about.
Okay, great.
So I have 3 of them. I have 4 of them. There was a post to the subreddit LGBT in 2023 that says, as a Costco employee, my coworker was told by our boss to remove their pride flag pin on their shirt, for it was too political. No other reasoning was given. All happened outside of Pride Month, if that's relevant.
Okay.
So that's another ding against Costco.
Yeah. And actually, I don't know if it matters whether it was Pride Month or not.
Yeah, I don't think it does to me. I think you should be able to wear a pride pin all year long. And it's unfortunately, being gay is political, even though we don't, regardless of what we do, it is a politicized orientation.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting too, because like you could wear a Biden pin.
Right.
That would be political for sure.
Yeah. There's some things that are actually politicized.
Yeah. But does that mean, I don't know. Yeah.
Another post to LGBT in 2022 said, in all caps, "Why are there so many attractive people in Costco?" One reply said, "'Cause all the ugly people at Sam's Club."
Oh my God.
And then this is a little bit longer, but there was a Reddit post to our Costco about a situation someone encountered, and I want to get your take on it.
Okay.
It was called Unacceptable Experience at Costco Warehouse. So they said, my husband and I went to Costco over lunch yesterday. We are a gay couple, married. We have one Costco account that we both are on. First, we had a return, went to the service desk, and a lady was friendly, nice, and understood we were together, and no problem at all when my partner showed his card since I didn't have mine on me. We do our shopping, go to checkout. Guy checking us out wasn't very friendly, zero smiles or anything. My husband handed him his card. We moved to front to pay, and I reached for my wallet. He replies, I assume you were paying cash? To which I reply, no, card. We're together. We're on the same account. His reply is then, well, then where is your card? To which I was a little taken aback and said, I forgot it at home, but we are both on the same account. Do you want him to pay for it? Because at the end of the day, it all comes out of the same bank account. The rest of the transaction, he just glares and doesn't say a word.
Okay.
Any thoughts about this situation someone encountered?
Well, I forget what the name of the axiom is, but there's the whole thing about like never attribute to malice that which can be explained by incompetence. And
yes.
Like,
yes.
I think that, this dude might not have been a dickbag, just bad at his job, or like, or Costco's systems might be bad at it. I do know that they're very, very serious about making sure that, like, for instance, if I take you to Costco, I can't swipe my membership card and then have you put down your debit card to pay for a bunch of stuff. And it's to prevent, because their business model is that you have a membership and it's the memberships that they're making money on. I mean, they have a margin also, obviously, but like that, like, you can't just go shopping for other people.
Right.
Now, the glaring and the body language, I don't want to invalidate that either. This guy might be just a dickbag. Like, regardless of Costco's policies, this guy just might not like gay people and works there.
I thought it might be like someone picking up homophobic undertones that maybe weren't actually there. They just assumed it was homophobic. You're right. It might just have been incompetence, or maybe this person didn't put two and two together and is just kind of dumb and had to like ask a couple times before it clicked in his head. Like, I don't know that that's necessarily homophobic. I wonder if this person saw homophobia when there wasn't any.
Yeah, I think it's possible.
It's possible. It's also possible that this clerk was in fact homophobic and was treating them like shit. And it's one of those things that you'll never know if someone is coming from a place of homophobia or not. Like, you can't stop and be like, I want to break down the interaction we just had.
Right.
Were you being homophobic or are you stupid?
Right.
Like,
right.
you can't find that out for sure. So
yeah. And it also could have been just as easy as saying, yeah, I need him to pay. It's his card. And then that's it. Right.
Yeah.
And there are Karens in the world that don't like being told no, whether it makes sense or not. And maybe this dude is one, but we don't know. We don't know. On the surface, though, it seems likely to me, the most likely is that this person is uncomfortable around gay people and wasn't communicating well what the problem was in a way that this person wanted to listen to.
Yeah, I agree. The last post that I will share is user Fecal Matters posted to the subreddit Costco saying, gayest subreddit ever? And someone's response was, I recommend the subreddit Gay. They'll answer all of your questions.
Great.
So getting some good navigational kind of subreddit advice through the Costco subreddit.
Putting the gay in navigation.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's Ask Reddit.
All right. Awesome. Well, okay. I also want to talk about, before we go, this thing that happened in Kansas City.
Okay. Back
in 2022. So, okay, this was from the Kansas City Star, which is, I guess, a newspaper. Those still exist. The LGBTQ Commission of Kansas City is investigating whether the Costco pharmacy on Linwood Boulevard may be in violation of a city non-discrimination ordinance. At least 3 transgender patients have reported that the pharmacy refused to fill testosterone prescriptions for their gender-affirming care. The city released a statement on Thursday morning saying that it is taking the allegations very seriously and is looking into any possible violations the pharmacy may have committed. So the newspaper also was looking at like whether other trans folks were having issues getting access to testosterone in the state of Missouri. Yes, they absolutely were.
Yeah.
And then there is because of state laws about controlled substances, and they consider testosterone to be a controlled substance, in part, like the maybe not dickbag fuckface asshole reason is juice heads getting access to it, not for like gender affirming purposes, but because they want bigger muscles. But then there was a 1993 city ordinance in Kansas City that prohibits discrimination based on gender identity. And the city started investigating whether this violated that law or not. And then they found that it did, but then the Costco came back and said, we might be violating a city ordinance. We'll see. But the state pharmacy board says that our pharmacy is not violating state law because, quote, Missouri law does not prohibit pharmacies from using their discretion and setting their own policies and procedures on which prescriptions they are willing to fill. And there are state dispensing limits, and there are regulations about state dispensing limits as well as the size of vials that pharmaceutical companies produce testosterone doses in. And it has led to a lot of problems in Missouri, including at this Costco. Now, ultimately, this group of patients, they reached a settlement. So we don't know what that settlement was. We don't know how much money changed hands, but Costco settled out of court with these people. And city spokesperson Sheree Honeycutt said, quote, the matter was settled to the satisfaction of all parties. And we cannot release any further details about the office's decision. And so there's a couple of things to talk about here, Kyle. First, I think, is in any organization of sufficient size, and Costco, like we said at the top of the show, is fucking massive. They're all over the place in all of these parts of the world. Just like there are some gay people who are pedophiles, just not all of us the way that the right wants to believe, a good company can have bad stores.
Right.
So even if Costco is down with trans people and down with trans affirming care, that doesn't mean that this pharmacy necessarily had a good pharmacist working in it, or that this store isn't somehow doing the wrong thing because of the way that it is doing business.
So this is not a smoking gun that Costco is anti-trans, because it could just be these individual stores.
Right. Exactly right. There's also, I think, this problem of the way that we do law in this country. There's the federal government, there's the state government, there's the county government, there's the city government, and they all have weird ways of contradicting each other and trying to make up for each other depending on the constituency that lives there. And there's a lot of people right now who are saying, like, even if Trump is reelected coming up in November, we'll be okay. We live in Seattle. That the city of Seattle, King County, and Washington State are all super ass liberal. We're going to be okay. Like, things might suck, but we're going to be okay. And I don't believe that.
Why not?
Because all it takes is one layer out of that onion to decide that, like, gay people have no rights now. Feel free to murder them.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what the city and county and state say. It's federal law. This is happening. Especially, like, I don't know, like, you look at legalized marijuana, which is still technically federally illegal, and Washington State just decided to do it anyway, and it's still legal. But I would not be shocked or surprised if that went away completely under the right administration, because it really doesn't matter what your law is if it contradicts the mama bear above you. So the city of Kansas City can say like, hey, you can't discriminate against LGBTQ people. But if the state of Missouri, in which that city sits, decides fuck trans people, what can you do about it?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. You can't take it to any higher power because the higher power already made a decision.
Right.
Yeah. Man, I didn't think about my weed going away if Trump is elected.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's the worst part.
Oh, well, sure.
No.
God. By the way, I just want to reiterate that I am absolutely willing to get married to somebody who is a citizen of another country that is better than this one. To feel free to DM me. It just means that we also have to find a husband for my boyfriend.
I swear this is our next podcast, is a dating show to get like Canadian citizenship or wherever.
All right, great.
Okay, I want to tell you about just a few of the gay TikToks I watched.
Okay, great. Awesome. Oh, what are we going to do for Patreon? You want to do this on the main episode?
Oh,
because I could also do, I have the gayest and straightest things you can buy at Costco.
Oh, why don't we do that for Patreon? Is that okay?
Yep. So for the Patreon segment, I'm going to talk about the gayest and straightest things you can buy at Costco.
I can't wait. I'm excited.
Great.
There was one gay Costco TikTok that said this one guy was determined to find a Costco boyfriend, someone who buys things in bulk.
Yeah.
And he was on a mission. There was one guy who recommended a Costco date night, a gay Costco date night. It included buying yourself some bulk quantity of treats, getting free samples for dinner, and buying their soft serve for dessert.
Great.
I don't know. Would you do a Costco date night?
No. But it is fun to go to Costco with an SO sometimes.
Why is that?
Oh. Well, first, because it's cute to be all domestic and like doing domestic things. Like there's something fun about that. But also like Costco has a weird way of like rotating stuff. And so like you've got like your grocery list or whatever, but then also it'll be like, let's see what's down the household goods aisle where they keep all of the like dishes and silverware and stuff. And like, it's fun to like see things and have an idea together and be like, I like that. Ooh, I like that too. Should we get it? Yeah. Like there's something fun about that.
Does it have the same reputation as IKEA, where IKEA is like, if you go to IKEA with your partner, you're going to get in a fight?
Oh,
does it have that same kind of thing?
No,
no.
Okay. At least not to me. Maybe other people disagree or have experienced that as a stereotype of Costco, but no. And I hate IKEA. I like panic attack levels of overstimulation at IKEA that I do not have at Costco.
Okay. See, I get that at Costco of overstimulation. There's, especially if it's on like a Sunday and there are a ton of people. I get so much anxiety. Yeah. I just want everyone to move out of my way.
Well, yeah.
There's a TikTok of one guy who called it Straight People Headquarters, aka Costco Wholesale and Hot Dog Boutiquerium. And there was one guy, gay TikToker, who just was like, I blacked out and spent $430 at Costco. How did I do that?
It is really hard to not spend a shitload of money at Costco. It's very difficult. In fact, even growing up 30 years ago or whatever, we called it the $100 store because it's going to be $100 at least. Yeah. But it was also really, really good for a family of 5 on a budget to like go buy stuff in these massive ass quantities for really affordable prices. And like, that part was good.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we've reached the part of the episode where we have to figure out if Costco's gay or not.
Oh, Kyle. Okay.
What are you thinking?
I think maybe it used to be and I need to reevaluate.
I'm kind of leaning that way too.
Yeah. This whole thing about like it's meteoric cratering, meteorite cratering. What's just to go so from number 1 all the way to like not doing great on the CEI, that seems a pretty damning piece of data. And that makes me very upset.
Yeah.
There was a time when I wouldn't shop at places that got less than a 70. And I have softened on that over time, much to my chagrin. But a 20? That's bad.
Do you think this will change your habits?
Probably not. I mean, maybe. I'm going to think about it. I mean, we just moved and like don't have enough room for Costco sized shit. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's part of my problem is I don't have room for oversized. I have a tiny little place. I don't have room for oversized double stuff, extra large everything.
Are we talking about your butthole now?
Always. We're always kind of talking about my butthole.
Great. Yeah, I don't know. Tell us what you think. Whether you shop at Costco or not, I'd be interested in your feedback, dear listener.
Yeah, and if you think it's kind of gay or not.
Yeah. I think it's still kind of gay, but everything is.
Everything is kind of gay. That's true.
Yeah. Well, did we do it?
I guess so.
We talked about Costco a lot, Kyle.
Yeah, I think we just spent an hour talking about Costco.
Yeah.
And they said it couldn't be done.
Yeah. Sometimes I do think that maybe our Gap Bridgers just want to see if we can possibly do an episode about the topic.
That's very true.
Like, that one looks like the hardest for these fuckers. Let's choose that one.
Sometimes I want to go back to them and shake them and be like, is this what you wanted? We gave you a Costco episode. Is this what you asked for? Is this it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think let's get the clip of Kyle doing that yell just now, Derek. That's what we'll put out
as the Instagram.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a break then, and I'm gonna not go to Costco. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's take a break.
All right. Let's take a break.
This is the part where Mike and Kyle take a break.
So are we back?
We're back.
We're back.
We're going to do our Gayest and Straightest.
We're going to do our Gayest and Straightest. But first, our website is gayishpodcast.com.
We are on socials at Gayish Podcast, or you can find out where to find our Discord if you want to join that book club or a Facebook group. Everything you need to know is at gayishpodcast.com/contact.
Our hotline, you can send us text messages or leave us voicemails, is 5855-GAYISH. That's 58558.
You got this.
I think I just had a stroke, Kyle. 585-542-9474. Standard rates apply.
Our email is gayishpodcast@gmail.com.
And our physical mailing address is Post Office Box 19882, Seattle, Washington, 98109. Rate, review, subscribe, and recommend. The 4 R's, everybody. That does wonders for us and our bottom line.
And yep. Exactly. Please. It really helps us.
It really does.
Yeah.
Thanks to everybody who said such nice things about Mom being on. It had been a while and like got lots of DMs and posts and stuff about like, so good to hear Ma again.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a blast seeing her and hanging out with her.
Yeah. And I know, okay, Kyle, you're going to make a face at me.
What?
Everybody needs to know I'm a Costco shareholder.
Oh, disclosure.
Great.
Yeah.
That's it. And I have an alibi for the Trump shooting. Okay. Do our Gayest and Straightest?
Yeah, let's do our Gayest and Straightest.
Okay, great. I'll go first.
Okay.
So the gayest thing about me this week was last week went to Des Moines, Washington for our friend Chris's birthday. And it's not what you call gay. Like that's not a particularly gay suburb.
Nope.
And we went to this dive bar. That was a divey dive bar that is like maybe not super safe feeling to gay people. But because it was a gay person's birthday, it was a gay bar. Like there were so many of us there. Bar? Yes. Any bar is a gay bar if you bring enough friends.
Mm-hmm.
So gaying up like the straightest dive bar in this weird ass suburb is my gayest. We did the electric slide and we played Kim Petras' song.
Ooh, okay. Kim Petras. Nice.
On the jukebox. Yeah. And then the straightest thing about me this week is the Jeep is old and it has problems from time to time, and went to a lake house with friends this weekend and stopped at Safeway for groceries. And then when I loaded all the groceries up, my Jeep wouldn't start. It would not start. So I'd been having problems with the battery for a while. So I looked at it, and the terminals were corroded and dirty. And I happened to have a terminal cleaner in my little toolbox. So I took the leads off and cleaned them with my terminal cleaner thing, and it started hard, but it started. So
wow, I'm impressed, Mike.
I know, I'm so butch.
So butch.
Yeah. The Jeep is going to die someday, and it makes me sad. But we're all going to die someday. Some of us sooner than others. Okay, Kyle. Go.
My gayest is I took Reynolds in for a video shoot at work. They were doing filming at one of our properties, and they have a doggy bath that I took Reynolds into, and he's going to be a little bit of a star.
That's adorable. Is it gone to his head?
Yeah. Whenever we go for walks now, he starts walking, and then he turns to me and says, "No, I want to take that again," and then goes back to one.
Great.
And my straightest is I have one pair of shorts for the summer.
Oh, yeah. I
just have just the one, and I just wear them every day.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many, what's the gay amount of shorts to own?
Like 10.
Oh, I'm not gay enough either. Okay.
Yeah. I think more than one should be required, but I don't know. I'm too lazy to do it.
Well, we have a listener's Gayest Straightest this week coming to us from Dusty Sands, known Gap Bridger. Dusty Sands sent to me in a DM on Discord, which that's fine. That's why it's higher audio quality. So if you want to send in your Gayest and Straightest that way, I totally support you. Here we go.
Hey Kyle, hey Mike, it's Dusty, your favorite recently ex-truck driver and now apprentice electrician. Hope you're both having a good day. I just want to give you my gayest and straightest for the day rather than the week, because all that is to follow occurred within the span of the last 10 hours. My straightest for the day is working at a wastewater treatment plant, cutting, threading, and bending metal conduit in order to install lights under a newly installed parking shade structure in the very blessed and common Arizona heats of 118 degrees Fahrenheit this week. 47 degrees Celsius for literally anywhere else in the world. Where very quickly is followed by my gayest thing of the day, which was full on hips gyrating and hands in the air dancing to Chapel Roan's music in the shower after work. Anyways, happy Pride, because Pride never stops. Love the show. Love you too. Hope you both have a very gay day. Bye.
Oh, that was sweet.
I hope you have a gay day too.
Yeah.
Sounds like you already did, but
Chapel Roan is the new gay pop icon.
Oh, well, pretend I for sure know who that is and tell me about it.
You just need to know this name. Everyone's been a buzz about Chapel Roan. So I learned it is not Chappelle Roan. And so I learned how to pronounce it recently. So that's where I'm at.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thanks for that. If you want to send in your Gayest and Straightest, we love them.
Yeah, do it.
Do it.
Thank you to all the Costco shoppers, especially the gay ones.
Yeah. Even though you might not want to go there anymore, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm very confused.
Somewhere else.
I'm having an existential crisis. It's your fault.
Okay. I take all the responsibility. You can just blame me.
Great. Okay.
Perfect. And I want to thank our super gap bridgers. Thank you to Locomotive, Kaylee Adams, Kit Oliver, Kobe Gordon, Squoggle, Pip, Andrew Bugby, William Bryant, John Crowley, Yost Osel, Jonathan Montañez, Forrest Nail, Steve Douglas, Explosive Lasagna, Michael Covington, Just Jamie, Thomas B, Dusty Sands, A.E. Coleman, Chris Cacciatorians, and Jerome York. Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your money. That's it. This has been Gayish from the Chris Cacciatorian Studios. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz. Until next week, be butch, be fabulous, be you. See you next week.
On aisle 4.